Good evening, I'm Roger, and welcome to NFL Trending. Tonight, one of the biggest stories in college football and the broader sports world, Coach Deion Sanders did not hold back after Colorado's defense put on what he called a hot garbage performance against the Houston Cougars. The outspoken head coach once again made headlines, and his words have fans, analysts, and even players buzzing. The Colorado Buffaloes entered this matchup with optimism, hoping to showcase growth under Coach Prime's leadership. Instead, what fans witnessed was a defensive breakdown from start to finish. The Houston Cougars capitalized on blown coverages, missed tackles, and lack of discipline, turning what could have been a competitive game into an outright embarrassment for the Buffaloes. In the post-game press conference, Sanders' frustration boiled over. He described his defense in blunt terms, calling them hot garbage. The phrase immediately went viral, sparking conversation across sports media. Sanders is no stranger to colorful soundbites, but this one cut deep, aimed directly at his players and staff who failed to deliver on the field. So what exactly went wrong for Colorado? Let's break it down. The Buffaloes' defense allowed Houston to pile up yardage both on the ground and through the air. Missed assignments plagued the secondary, with Cougar receivers finding wide-open lanes. The pass rush was virtually non-existent, giving Houston's quarterback far too much time to dissect the coverage. And perhaps most alarming, the tackling fundamentals simply weren't there. Time and again, Houston ball carriers slipped through weak attempts, turning short gains into big plays. For Sanders, this kind of effort was unacceptable. He has spent the past 2 years preaching accountability, effort, and discipline as he rebuilds Colorado's program. His arrival in Boulder brought unprecedented attention, star recruits, and a belief that the Buffaloes could become a legitimate contender in the Pac-12 and beyond. But moments like this expose just how far the program still has to go. During his press conference, Sanders didn't just criticize his players. He made it clear that coaching adjustments will be necessary. "If you can't tackle, you won't be out there," Sanders said flatly. He emphasized that jobs are on the line, and that includes both players and coaches. The message was unmistakable. This isn't just about effort. It's about results. Reactions to Sanders' comments have been divided. Some fans applaud his honesty, saying that tough love is exactly what the Buffaloes need. Others worry that such public criticism could backfire, potentially damaging player confidence. But anyone who has followed Deion Sanders throughout his career knows that this is who he is: direct, passionate, and unwilling to sugarcoat reality. What makes this story especially compelling is the larger context. Deion Sanders has been one of the most polarizing figures in college football since taking over at Colorado. His brash confidence, recruiting success, and larger-than-life personality have made him a target for critics, but also a hero for a fan base starving for relevance. Every word he says becomes national news, and when he uses phrases like hot garbage, the ripple effects are massive. From an X's and O's standpoint, the Buffaloes' defense has struggled all season. Their inability to stop the run has been glaring, and opponents have consistently exploited mismatches in coverage. Analysts point to a lack of depth in the defensive front and an over-reliance on young talent still adjusting to the speed of the game. Against Houston, those weaknesses were fully exposed. On the offensive side of the ball, Shedeur Sanders, Deion's son and star quarterback, continues to put up impressive numbers. But as we've seen time and again, one player cannot carry an entire program. When the defense is this porous, no amount of offensive firepower can overcome the deficit. Shedeur has remained composed in the face of pressure, but even he has hinted that the team's defensive struggles are becoming a major frustration. This brings us to the question, what happens next? Coach Sanders made it clear that changes are coming. Whether that means lineup adjustments, new defensive schemes, or even staff shakeups remains to be seen. But one thing is certain, the status quo will not stand. Sanders has built his reputation on winning and expects nothing less than excellence. For the Buffaloes, that means accountability will be enforced immediately. Looking ahead, Colorado faces a tough stretch of games. If the defense doesn't improve quickly, their season could spiral. In college football, momentum is everything. One loss can snowball into multiple setbacks, especially in a conference as competitive as the Pac-12. Sanders knows this, which is why his fiery post-game comments carried so much urgency. Beyond the X's and O's, this story highlights Deion Sanders' unique role in today's sports landscape. Few coaches command as much media attention. His words are dissected on ESPN, debated on talk radio, and trend instantly on social media. Every move he makes, whether on the sideline or in a press room, is magnified. That visibility has helped Colorado recruit top talent, but it also means every shortcoming is front-page news. For the players, this moment will test their resilience. Being called hot garbage on a national stage is not easy to swallow. Some may respond with renewed determination, using the criticism as fuel to improve. Others may struggle under the pressure. The culture Sanders is building relies heavily on mental toughness, and this moment will show who is truly bought in. Fans in Boulder are certainly frustrated, but many remain loyal to the long-term vision. They remember where the program was before Sanders arrived, struggling, irrelevant, and without national buzz. Even with setbacks like the Houston game, the Buffaloes are in a far better position today than they were 2 years ago. Still, patience only lasts so long, and Sanders knows it. That's why his post-game comments were as much about sending a message to fans as to his team. Mediocrity will not be tolerated. Around the college football world, rival coaches are paying attention as well. Sanders' bluntness has drawn both criticism and admiration from peers. Some argue that such language could fracture a locker room, while others see it as refreshing honesty in a sport full of cliches. Love him or hate him, Deion Sanders is impossible to ignore. As for the Buffaloes, the challenge now is clear. Fix the defense, regain confidence, and prove that this team is more than just a headline machine. Sanders has promised accountability. Now, fans and analysts alike are waiting to see the results on the field. To wrap things up, Coach Prime's hot garbage comment may have been harsh, but it underscores the urgency facing Colorado. In today's college football landscape, excuses don't win games. Execution does. Sanders has never been afraid to speak his mind, and while his players may not like what they heard, the message was simple: step up or step aside. That's all for tonight's edition of NFL Trending. I'm Roger. Thanks for joining us. Stay tuned for more stories, more analysis, and the latest headlines from across the football world.